So, hello YouTube. Starting up the Facebreaker build again. We're going to start up a run at the second time in the Labyrinth. Second Labyrinth run. Since the last video, I did double check and figure out that I was running the wrong cries, so we're now running the right war cries for slams. Or some of the right war cries for slams. I think out of all the cries, I had picked the wrong one. There's multiple right ones, but there is a wrong one, and I specifically picked the wrong one apparently last time. So we should see a lot more damage if I start using that. So we're gonna go try to take on the second Labyrinth, so we can get more of our good Juggernaut buffs. If I fail the Labyrinth, I'm gonna stop the recording and start back over again. That's why I'm doing the Labyrinth first in the Axe. I was a little bit more worried about dying. I might start it later in the Axe. Because we're 57 and 55 area.
Don't give up yet.
Did I just stun Azara? I was not expecting to stun Azara. Oh yeah, this build is now starting to come back into its own. I definitely made some potentially pathing errors earlier. Granted, I double checked in the passive tree that I've planned out for it, and I have about grabbed all the damage. There isn't any really more damage in the passive tree, so now it's coming down to equipment. So this is definitely a build like you obviously can't already run it without Facebreaker, so it's a build you can't start with. But it's a very gear dependent build if you want to make it work really well. I haven't necessarily invested enough into it, which is why the build has had momentary struggles every once in a while. There we go. And there's an out, so we'll come up to the thing, check to see is that the way we're going to go. That is not the way you want to go. You do have some options. That wouldn't necessarily be the worst way to go. It's just not the way I want to go. I'm going to minimize the zones I go through, if I can. I apparently hit the button I needed to open up the sacred door, though. I did not see the button, I just pushed it. Figure out the way forward. Oh, he just wait. So the next door we find in the Fogger War is the door we want to go through. Or the door I want to go through. It may not be the door you want to go through. No. My loot filter at this level is not filtering gems based on whether I have quality. Once I get into maps, usually it pre-filters them to only giving you quality, so that's why that one is showing up. This build doesn't want discharge anyway, so I'd only be interested in picking it up if I was going to turn it into Jeweler's Prisms. Or Gemcraft Prisms, or whatever it's called. So we did the Basilica Holes. The next one should be the Trial. If you're on a build that doesn't have as much regen as this one, you might not want to take that path. You might want to take the long way around. That was just a good path for this build to take, because it has a decent amount of regen. At least decent regen on demand if I need it. Yeah, not much to say. This is going... Given all my complaints at the end of Act 4 and during Act 5, this is going very smoothly at this point. Nope, that's not the way we want to go. That's where we would have come out if we'd gone in the previous zone. Usually the way in and the way out are, for side zones like that, are pretty close. As we can see, it didn't take very long to get over to the other one. And there's the experience trial, so we go into the trial.
When the time comes to strike, an emperor strikes without hesitation. To entertain doubt is to dance with death.
So we're getting more advice from good old Zaro.
Accept no impulse.
Yeah, this now that I've got the cries going right, this is a lot better. A lot better.
Time is the champion of second chances.
Okay, not gonna grab that. Don't need that. 58? Yeah, no, actually, well, I need dex, so when I level up I can grab the dex for that. Toss on the hood. Which I think will be making the build stronger. Okay, way out. Now the question is this the way we want to go? Yes, this is the way we want to go. So into the into the mansion atrium, and we keep zooming. Podium that we don't want to look at. Hopefully this is taking us where we want to go and not a really deep wrong end. Oh yeah, definitely feeling better with the right cries. Yes. Okay, is this the right one? It is the right one. There we go. So this is going to be a nice, smooth lab number 2. Assuming I don't die in this fight coming up. If you're on Twitch, you'll find out closely. If you're on YouTube, you won't, because if I fail, well, if you're on YouTube and I fail, then this won't get uploaded to YouTube. I'll stop the recording and we'll start back over again. go. So YouTube, you will get to see this run. Because there won't be a second, because this run worked. So that went smoother. That went smoother than I feared it would. Oh, I only got one key. Sad day. 3% quality gem. Yeah, we'll add 3% quality to... Will he take the Val gem? No, you won't. Okay, During Cry then. We'll add 3% quality to the During Cry. And then we come over here. We say hi to you. And we want that actually... Oh, I just needed to say hi to you. So we said hi to you. That gave us 2 more skill points we can spend in here. Do I want the reduction or damage? Yeah, we want the damage. Another potentially 48% more increased damage. And so YouTube, that's where I'm going to stop the video. So that was the second labyrinth. I'm going to quickly stop the video and start the video again for Act 7. So welcome back YouTube. This is going to be Act 7 on the Facebreaker build. Wait, no, I lost count. Act 8 on the Facebreaker build. The build is feeling a lot better than it was back in Act 4 and 5. So there's probably things you can do to make it work better in those acts. I probably did some stuff out of order, and that made the build feel really bad for a couple acts until I fixed that. We are on path to get spell block capped again, now that we don't have glancing blows anymore, which will make the build really tanky. It's something like 2/3 of all incoming hits will be blocked, regardless of spells or attacks, for 100% of their damage. Whereas before, when we were running glancing blows, we were technically losing, or we were taking like 2/3 of that damage in exchange for having it or having that bit blocked. Something I probably need to slow down and think, because I've been jumbling my words. So here we're basically running through to defeat another one of what was effectively the mini-bosses for Act 4. Yeah, one of the mini-bosses for Act 4. Because they hold the key to defeating Katava. In their defeat. So we need to defeat each of them independently, then we go to... Because they're basically the Act boss, but their merged form is the Act boss for Part 9, so... We're still finding all of them so that we can keep them in Act 9 when we get to Act 9. Okay, I suppose one way to deal with a monster like that is to simply hit everything on the map. Because then when it divides to try to avoid you, it doesn't get away. So looking for the Great Down to the boss. Again, it is something that sort of is visible through the Fog of War when you're in this tabbed out form, so that's sort of what I'm looking for, is when I get close I'll be able to see it. Going the wrong way down the switchback. The map does a little bit of a loop there, and I was starting to go down the loop back towards where I came from, which is not what we wanted to do. Wrong dead end. Oh, I don't know if that was a smart idea. I'm not sure if this will follow me into the boss arena. Because if it follows me to the boss arena, this might be a problem. Because it will make this boss arena really small, in effect. Yeah, but we're about to find out, because here's the boss arena. I don't see any indication that it has followed me, so that'll be fun. Okay. Oh, it did follow me down here. Okay, so there's more things I can run into because I did that. Whoops. And apparently it doesn't matter because the fight wasn't too hard. I don't think I need to talk to Sin here, but I'm going to talk to Sin just in case we needed to, and then we get it down the outlet. And I'm presented with a choice. Do we go left or do you go right? A lot of people like to go right. I like to go left because I'm weird like that. Really, that's the only difference. I like to go left. So we now have a skill point. I can use that to grab that dex point that I need for the helmet. It's gonna ruin everything by putting it on. Maybe. I won't be fire capped if I do that. Okay. But will I be fired capped if I wear that? Ooh, that's a good question. So I'll up the fire, that will down the fire, and then we stay fire capped. Okay, so that works. That works. We'll go with that. Yeah. I think I might have lost a little bit of health doing that, but because I'm getting damage based off of the stats on the shield, it's trading HP for damage. I think I lost like 100 hit points. But I get a lot more armor and gained a decent amount of damage. This guy's taking as long to die as he is because he's got extra life, and I think the random charges are occasionally giving him endurance charges, which is giving him a bunch of fizz resist. This build does not right now have any fizz pen. It doesn't actually have any plans to get any, so it's just going to be one of the build's weaknesses. It doesn't do good damage against things that are actually fizz resistant. This zone's really easy to navigate through. It's just there's no way that navigating through it makes it any faster. Is you just basically can hug the right wall. So it's very easy to not get lost in here if you're trying to get where you're going. Inversely, there's no real way to make the zone any shorter. So if you're trying to speed run, it's not necessarily the fastest zone to travel through. And the Grand Promenade zone is basically the same as the Grand Promenade map in sort of architecture and design. It's basically just a long strip. I'm going to mainly zoom through here because now that the build's feeling good, probably don't need to stay quite as over level as we were. We do want to get a little more health before the final boss of this act, but a little bit more health is very different from needing a half a dozen levels, right? So I probably will get most of that health just by leveling once or twice. So tinctures were a thing, I think, added last league, so I'm not used to using them yet, which is why I haven't been picking any of them up. Because I didn't play last league, so I was off for a league. Finishing up, getting everything done I needed to graduate. Into the bathhouse. So in the bathhouse, we've got three things we want to do in here. There's the path out to one of the gods. If this was your first time coming through the bathhouse, there is one of the labyrinths you need for the third labyrinth, one of the trials you need for the third labyrinth. Which is often why I actually forget and delay the labyrinth until the end of the act, because I forget if you need it for the second one. I believe you don't need it for the second one. I believe it's for the third one, but often I forget that and end up waiting until after it anyway. There's a boss in here, which I think is worth a... I think the boss is worth a skill point. It might be worth a respect point. The one that's in here. And we'll see him when we come across him. Actually, I'm surprised we didn't see him. So that's the Lunaris corridor. That's where we go for a boss. The boss we need, or the mini-boss we need to take down for the act. I apparently somehow dodged the guy in here we want to kill. I think on this build I'm going to postpone doing the lesser deity, because the lesser deity can be a bit lethal the builds that don't have good mobility or good damage. So I'm going to postpone it because I don't think if I was on hardcore I would take the build or take the boss at this point. If I'm on softcore, I can sort of force it if I want to, but it'll be funner if I do it a little bit later. So we collected that. That's what we were here for. I'm going to delay the boss until after the act boss. Mainly because it's got little orbs that slow you down, that chase you around in the boss fight. And I feel like that would not feel great on this build. So I'm going to delay it a little bit and get a little more damage for that fight. And there's not much to say. One thing in this act is because of how the map splits, you basically get one half of it where you're at level or a little under level, and then the other half you're probably over level 4 because you went and did the other half. So the entire act gets up to about zone level 60 by the end of it. But because it doesn't force you to do it in a particular order, you usually do like left side, right side, or right side, left side. So we're 58 in the 58 zone, and it's going to get even worse because I think it goes up to 59 before we find the mini boss we're trying to kill. Oops. There we go. Oh, that shield recharge. Not passive shield. Okay. There we go. Was it worth doing that? Probably not. Probably took more time and would have been better off just continuing to zoom, but we took that rare down. So I have to say, I very much appreciate how the Lunaris group redecorates Lunaris Temple. I am not particularly appreciative of how it looks in Act 3. Act 3, yeah. I much prefer how it looks in this act. Yeah, this guy's not worth it. He's just taking too long. We're not going to get enough from him to make it worth fighting him, so we're just going to run away from him. Because I have a need for speed. Left side, this one. Yeah, so we're looking for the way down to level 2, because much like the first time you're in here, the boss you're fighting is roughly where Piety was in Act 3. So we need to get down there to defeat that boss. Lightning Storm being loud AF. way. So once we go ahead and defeat the boss down here, we're going to portal back to town, and from town we can then take the choice we did not take earlier and go right instead of left. I think Val side area tricked me there. Here we are, going the right way. Evasive doesn't affect this build. Well, it doesn't affect this build yet. I was contemplating potentially reenacting or reactivating the ability to do crits in exchange for having to miss every once in a while, but I haven't done that yet. From the right way to the wrong way to the right way. I think I found a nice shortcut in there that might speed us going through here a little faster. I'm sorry, Alva, we're going to ignore you. We are reaching the point where we're going to start dropping maps. Because we're starting to get close to Act 10 and the final Katava fight. And like that, that guy's down. We get the moon orb. So with that, we can teleport back to town. And I'm gonna quickly do a little bit of inventory checking here. Sneaks, if we don't have duplicates of them, into the bank. Map into the bank. You into the bank. You're 64, you're 65, you're I get more int. Okay. So we can bend those 3 items.
Goodness, it's about.
I don't know if we want any of those.
You found them.
We probably don't you.
Stay out of the shadows. How you doing? Bring me back something nice.
Okay, I need to take a very short break. So I'm gonna have to put a stitch here in the YouTube video. Be right back. Okay, picking back up after the stitch for YouTube. Do we want to hold onto the shield? I think the answer is no. Oh, I see why the hit points went down. The shield had 100 hit points on it.
Still breathing, eh? Don't do anything I
Wait, so neither of those are upgrades. None of those are going to be upgrades. Okay. So, back on to doing the other half of the path. First, we got a skill point to spend. Where to head? We want life. 6% there, 6% there, 4% there. We do want it before the end of the act, otherwise I'd start running down to here. I guess 6% will work. Yeah, 6%. We only knew it 6%. We'll grab the block stuff with the rest of the skill points for this act. Okay, so we portal back here. We take the right turn. We took left earlier, we're going right this time. And we should very quickly be able to get into one of the fights where we get more skill points. So pretty similar to the earlier zone. This zone, if you know what you're doing, you probably be a little bit quicker, but otherwise we're just going to basically hug the right side of the map as we go along. So we're looking for like a boss arena and an item. And both of those you usually find fairly quickly. You just hug the sort of the proverbial right wall as you walk. In this case, south instead of north. Assuming you assume north is up screen and south is down screen. As if you hug the right wall as you walk down screen, you should find what you're looking for. I'm not going to pick that up, because I don't want that to be there during the sort of the pseudo-boss fight that we have in this map. The wind up on those blows because of the temporal effect was terrible. I know one of the bonuses you can get off of Juggernaut is you can't be reduced below base speed. Sadly, I think I normally take that on this build as the 4th lab, so this build won't get that for a while. And it has been a real long time since I've done this build deep enough to actually get down there. So, I think I was wrong earlier, and the thing I picked up just gave me an item and not respec or skill points. This one I know is a skill point. But the other one, in theory, didn't really require me going out of my way. Or it doesn't usually require me going out of my way. So here we're properly killing Tolman because she didn't believe that he'd been zombified to non-humanity, and her attempt to resurrect him has sort of backfired on her. So yeah, if we talk to her in town, we'll get a passive book from her, and we'll give us another passive skill. Block. So we got that block, got that block. Oh, we don't have that one. Full max resist or higher max block. Let's go full resist first. Oh, that's not going to do anything for the moment. Actually, no, we'll go max block first. So we look before, we have. As far as block goes, where's block? Should be on here. Block. No, that's the recovery. Oh, there it is. That's the block attack damage. It's 60. Oh, the new shield has a lot less block. Okay. So I actually lost all my spell block by swapping shields. But I think damage-wise, at least in the short term, that was a good choice. Well, because of that block, that probably wasn't worth the effort, but we killed him. We got the XP from him. This zone has a fight that you don't need to do, but the fight's sort of in the way, so it's not a bad thing to do it. The way to tell the quickest way through here is, I believe there should be, as you can see here, there's a little bit of a corpse there. The correct way has corpses going into and out of the buildings. If I have been informed correctly. As in some cases, like that case, it's sometimes a little bit hard to see the corpse because of the direction of the building. And I suppose if you kill things near the building, that will make it even harder to tell, because there might be extra corpses to confuse it with. That one, that one. Maybe just taking the wrong turn. That one. There we go. So those were sort of a bonus quest in here that was really easy to do if you try and take the chores to go through. And there's the way out of the zone. Into the Imperial Fields. Then we go into the Solaris Temple, where we found the Gemling Queen before in Act 3. We instead have, like, the High Priest of Solaris that we have to defeat for the Sun Orb. And then with the Sun Orb and the Moon Orb, we can go fight the Act Boss. Before I do the Act Boss, I might go back and fight that boss that I skipped earlier. Because I want to level up a little bit more before doing it. Because I think waiting until after Solaris is maybe pushing it more than I need to. Shouldn't be that bad. It will be a bit annoying because of all the slows involved in the fight, but with everything else done in the act, I should be leveled up enough that it shouldn't be a problem for a smooth clear. It'll just be a slow clear. This is one of the zones that I sometimes get sort of lost in, because the way to tell which way you're going can also get confused with the way that you leave. So if you get going down the wrong way, you might suddenly realize that you're about to leave when you haven't finished what you wanted to do in the temple. Because level 1 both has a throughway out towards the bridge and the way down to where the queen was and where the priestess is right now. And it's fairly easy to accidentally get going down the wrong one.
I cannot do this yet.
Number of magic people that we'll defeat, so we can get our XP. again. So, okay, so I went the right way. So this is the way down to the lower level. One of the differences between doing left and right first is if you do left first, you can't use the back... Well, you can use the back door, but it doesn't make sense to use the back door of the Solaris Temple to do the top of the left side. So in which case you then skip that zone if you did left first. If you did right first, you skip the first zone of the left side because you can then come in front of the right side. At the top of the right side. Which I think probably why a lot of speedrunners do the right side first. I think we're about there. Getting to the end of the Solaris Temple. Yeah, the enemy density just went away, so we're definitely there. Oh, and this fight hasn't been that bad, which is maybe showing good sign for dealing with the optional boss that I'm about to go try doing as soon as this fight's done. Grab the Sun Hour because we don't want to forget that behind. Then we can portal back to town. And we take the alternative exit out of the bathhouse to go face the optional boss. We're going to see how badly this build struggles with it. We don't need to kill him, we've already killed him once. So that's the trial. That's not what we want to do. Because we've already done all this, so we don't need to do it again. That's a dead end, that's not where we want to go. That's a hideout choice, not where we want to go. Apparently I'm finding all the ways I don't want to go. Before the one I want to do. There's the concourse, that's not what we want. Yay, going every direction we don't want to go. Here's the one we wanted. It took us a while to find it. Into the High Gardens. I forget this god's name. It's the one with all the mercury mirrors. And it's these little mirror ball things that are really going to be annoying in that fight with him, because they slow you down. So if you're trying to actively dodge something that hits hard and they slow you down enough that you don't dodge it, that gets somewhat annoying. It's not that bad if you can keep the fight short because you have a damage build. So I'm hoping that the damage is recovered enough on this build that it's at least a comfortable damage for the fight. Level. I'll probably use that skill point when we get to the door. Or clear out the guys near the door. That might be useful for the boss fight to have whatever that is. Actually, it probably won't be useful for the boss fight because I don't think, well, say I don't. It might be enough to get us back to block tap again, in which case we'll get some spell block from it. Grab the next block, it's another 4% block chance. Not block camped for it. We are block camped after it, so it is giving us 6% spell block. You roll. You see these little balls are gonna be annoying because they slow you. And as the fight goes on, you end up with more and more and more of them, so they slow you more and more and more. That fight, there's a couple close calls in that fight, but the fight otherwise went perfectly fine. So I probably shouldn't have been as worrying as much as I was.
In death, the mirrors are thus shattered.
It says that, and the mirrors look perfectly fine. This is a shield block, unique shield block, curse enemies with punishment when you block their melee attacks, ignore curse limits. A bunch of interesting reactions with curse, which this build doesn't use.
Ugal was
Right, that god, and these are the act bosses, so. There's a new one. You all there. You and your minions, okay, so this one doesn't do anything to me on this build. So once again, we want to portal out because we want to come in by a different entrance to accelerate getting to the map boss. We're going to take the other way out of the Lunaris Concourse, which should be fairly quickly, and then we just fight the middle of the Lunaris Concourse, where Lunaris and Solaris are fighting. Onto the bridge. So in the middle of the bridge, the shrine to both of them is. And we can get them to start fighting, and then we can fight both of them simultaneously. What ends up happening? So one thing you did, one thing you could do if you did right side first is you could come down. This zone has two entrances, so you can come down from the other entrance and go through this zone to get to the Lunaris Concourse. So we're only ever going to travel half of this zone because we went both left and right, whereas you can skip one of the zones in left if you come down the right side, or vice versa. If you come down the left side, you can skip one of the zones in the right side. It's not as useful to do in the case of the right side. I don't know if the moon is more stun resistant than the sun, because I've been stunning the sun one, but not the moon one. Obviously, been stunning Lunaris more than Solaris is, or yeah, Solaris instead of Lunaris. There's the first one down. And yeah. Build is definitely feeling better than it was at the end of Act 4, because we just sort of casually did that fight. To such a degree that I sort of just stopped paying attention to the hit points, because I wasn't really taking any damage. Nothing here is worth taking. It's now giving us two more options. For the moment, I think the one I actually have, I don't like getting stunned, so we'll take the stun immunity. Or the stun resistance. And then we'll just move on. We'll do the transition zone into Act 9, and then I'll take a, well, I may take a break. Well, I'll take a quick short break, or quick stretch break. And so there'll be a break in the YouTube video. I probably won't take the stream down, because I think I'm going to go straight into doing Act 9. This is a place where some people farm for gear. That is something I should probably check. I might check between videos is, am I still business capped after Katana? Because if I am, I can just sort of fly through Act 9 real quickly. And if I'm not, I have to be a little bit more cognizant of what Marisa's situation is, because usually Act 10 is real quick. So much so that I might actually do the third lab and Act 10 together in one video. I know I divided the Lab 2 from the video. They'll already have to do one stitch, so maybe I might stitch it back together. There's the transition zone. So, yeah, this build's definitely feeling a lot better than it was earlier. And so we can fly through these zones a lot faster. This is where I'm going to stop the YouTube recording. I'm going to take a quick stretch before I continue with the next act.